Welcome to our BookTrib live chat. Today we are talking to none other than Bo Burnham, comedian,
Another
singer-songwriter, actor, and author. Basically, there's nothing this guy can't do. Thanks for stopping by, Bo.
nothing that I haven't mastered. Jack of all trades,
Right?
master of none. Glad to be
Definitely.
here.
Before we get started with our audience questions,
Nothing that I haven't mastered. Okay.
there's a lot pouring in. Can you just tell us a little bit about your book, Egghead, or You Can't Survive on Ideas Alone?
Yeah, it's a little poetry collection of poetry and illustrations. I was a big fan of sort of Shel Silverstein and growing up, and I got together with my friend Chance Bone, who is a real human being. People think because of his name that I did the drawings, and that's a pseudonym, and that is not the case. I cannot draw, and he's a very, very wonderful illustrator. Um, but yeah, so that's sort of silly little poetry collection we put out. Um, that is just a collection of a lot of silly, weird, strange sort of thoughts on wood pulp.
That's awesome. And now we have a question from Chase. He says, Bo, how hard was it to choose between attending college and pursuing your career in comedy?
Ooh, it wasn't that. It wasn't hugely difficult for me. I was young for my grade, so I was able to basically defer for a year, where my enrollment would have been waiting for me the next year. But so I was able to have like a year of just trying it out, and if it didn't work out, I was going to go to college. So I was able to sort of do it risk free. I
Oh, that's
recommend a
awesome.
year off to anybody, though. I mean, if anyone's thinking about doing it, you're not gonna miss anything if you go to college at 19 instead of 18 and having a year off to just sort of figure out maybe what you want to do, so that you're not figuring that out for 30 grand a year, which I think is like a problem for kids.
Right. So Becca says, Hi, Bo. You explore a really wide range of material throughout your work, and with the risk you take, it isn't guaranteed that everything will land well. How do you personally deal with failure and criticism?
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, I don't know. You know, I think it's more important I sort of decided that the most important thing was how I feel about my stuff, and that can maybe sound a little in my own head or something, but it's the only thing I really, really have control over, is whether I like my stuff or whether I am, not proud, but at least happy with what I'm doing. If you leave it up to what people are going to think about your stuff, you're just screwed. I mean, you're throwing yourself to the wolves. So, yeah, I mean, I don't, again, failure for me would be, I don't know, not challenging myself or failing to complete something. It really isn't about how many people see it or how many people like it. Those numbers are already unfathomable. Like, I can't fathom anything above 1,000. So whether 10,000 people see it or a million see it, like, what does that even mean at that point? Problem is, I live out in Hollywood now, and it's all about that. It's a very like relativistic place where we're all comparing ourselves to each other in a sort of like in the stratosphere, where everything is so high and unbelievable and ridiculous. It's silly to compare it. So, I got a little bit amount. I felt like I got too much success early, and I already couldn't measure or fathom it. So now it's just like, hopefully I can make stuff that I still find interesting, and I can make stuff that, one year I couldn't have done the year before. And if that's happening, I'm happy, I guess. But
And
failure
now,
is difficult.
of course, I
I don't
mean,
know. It's a hard word.
do you feel pressure to kind of conform to kind of societal norms or the entertainment industry as a whole, or do you kind of just do your own thing?
I don't know. I mean, like the truth is, like I could say like the fake brave answer, which is like, yes, I feel so much pressure to conform to the norms, and I'm so brave to. But the truth is that like entertainment is so fractured, and you're actually told to be incredibly individual, and if you make your own thing, it'll work. It's more like just not to get caught in the vacuum of um, self-promotion and sticking your face in front of everybody all the time. I know this is kind of ironic, giving a live chat of me in my house. But I don't tweet. I don't do many things. I do a few things that I really, really care about, and that's the pressure I feel more than the conform. The pressure to be in people's faces all the time, tweeting, Instagramming, putting things out there. And, I don't want to look back and say, you have to dig through all this crap to find the stuff I really cared about. You have to look through all these videos I made every day and all this stuff in order to find. I don't want it to be like that. So it's really like I release maybe one or two things a year, if that. And the things I do release are things I hugely care about and spend a huge amount of work on. And I think that's a pressure I feel, I know. I think it's a pressure a lot of kids feel, a lot of people wanting to get into anything creative. And I think
Yeah.
you have to be resilient and patient and work hard on something specific and, long-term work, things that take a long time, usually have a longer shelf life and are more impactful. And I worry that like my generation is being encouraged to, rather than spend a year on something and release something that is good and polished, you're required every week to put something out there, and it never accumulates into something substantial. You just have like sort of an IV drip of mediocre art, and so I'm saying like when I did an hour-long special and I waited 3 years until the next one. And in that 3 years, I was having tweets of like, "Are you dead? What happened to you?" And I was really feeling like, I had this career and I let it die, like because but then when I put out that next one, which was last year, a special called What, it felt like more people saw it than anything. And that sort of proved to me like, oh, if I can sit and work and release something when it's ready, then, that's the most valuable thing I can do, and if I have to disappear for a little while in order to make the final product what it is, then I'll do that. And that's something I'm just going to blindly follow now forever, which I
Yeah.
think is
It's it's
hopefully good.
it's great that people will kind of stick around. I mean, you have a huge following, and no matter how long you take to put something out, I think that they'll still be there. Speaking of, so Jason Moore says, "Bo, I love your intelligent comedy. What are your comedic influences?" Wow, I can't talk.
Ooh. No, it's very nice. It was very intelligent. That's very nice.
Elegant.
um uh there are a lot of comedic influences, in my family, but also like um Steve Martin and a lot of Australian, European comics, Bill Bailey and Tim Minchin, this Dutch comic Hans Taywin. Um, uh, I think I have probably, it's strange the line between what are your influences and what are you a fan of, because, there are certain people I'd say I'm a fan of, but I don't know if I could even qualify to say I'm influenced by them. Because to say I'm influenced by them means like I have the ability to do what they do. Um, Hmm. I don't know why this seems like the most basic question, but this is one of the harder ones for me. Hey, um, Dr. Park. Um, my comic influences. I don't know. I don't know. I think like at a certain point the ball gets rolling, and you kind of also get one of my biggest influences is myself in a bad way. So like my own hate of myself, like my own hate of what I did and wanting to do something different than that. So I'm sort of like an anti-influence on myself. Um, One of the problems is that, immediately after I make something, I can't look at it and I get nauseated by it. Even this book has been out for a little while, and it's like, um, that's always been part of my process, is that like I need to do the next thing because I need people to know like, oh, I'm not really like that. I'm like this now. And then I do that thing now, and then I get sick of that and I say, no, no, no. So, yeah, part of it is my own thing. But of course, I just comedically what you take in, it's everything, it's authors and television and actors as much as it is comedians, I think. For
Oh,
me, I
definitely.
do sort of a theatrical show, so it also has sort of theatrical influences like, concerts and all that sort of stuff.
And I mean, you've done so many things already. I'm sure you have a very long career ahead of you. Chase says, do you ever miss doing Zach Stone is going to be famous? I know I do. How was it working with Shelley Hennig, who co-starred with you?
He got to the question. He got to the real question, which is he just
Right.
wanted to ask about Shelley Hennig. Um, it was great. That was a super fun show. For people that don't know, I made a show on MTV. It was like a mockumentary for a season. It was really great. I got to make 13 episodes. It was super fun. Um, Shelley was great. She was super funny. She was just in that Defriended movie. Not befriended. Defriended.
Unfriended,
That
yes.
one.
Yes.
Unfriended. I didn't have the prefix right. Um, Contrafriended. And it was great. It was super fun. Something that you miss in stand up is collaboration, and
Hmm.
that's something I got to do in the book, and something I got to do in the show, and something I definitely miss. Um, it's good to be able to work with people. It's nice to be in your own head sometimes, but it's also really good to crack it open and see what happens when you let other people participate in your ideas. They always make them better. Uh,
Oh,
so that
definitely.
was important to me.
That's awesome. We wanted more of that show. We're bummed that it didn't make it. But
Yeah.
Marley has a question. What advice do you have for someone wanting to pursue a career in performing? Love you lots.
Ooh. Um. Thank you. Um. Thank you lots. I don't know. I probably want performing is difficult for me. I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to performing, and so I would probably want some advice from you too, if you're someone that isn't sick to your stomach before you go on stage. Um, but I don't know, just keep doing it, I guess, and maybe very strangely, it's the thing about performing is it's like you have to amalgamate an impulse to be very, very aware of how you're being seen and to be completely unaware of how you're being seen. And that's what's sort of very difficult for me to square in my mind and what I think a lot of my show is about. Um, so it's weird. It's about being girls. It's about being incredibly self-conscious and incredibly confident, which is very strange for me. You have to be very aware of the fact that you are being seen and at the same time try to disappear in it. God, I don't think this is any kind of advice. Do vocal exercises and stretch before you go on stage. There you go. There's something. Do a nice little stretch.
So
Don't pull a hammy and relax.
don't just do that. So Ashley says, if you couldn't do comedy, what kind of average job would you be doing?
What kind of average job? Um, I don't know. Probably do. I don't know. Probably. I think I'd be writing in some way. Like, I could maybe for a newspaper or. I mean, I don't know.
Hmm.
The weird, strange. I mean, what? It's like any job I give feel feels like I'm putting it down by putting it in the average job category. My mother's a nurse and she's a
Hmm.
hospice nurse, so I wouldn't say that's average. I don't know what job I would qualify as average, but would qualify as average, but I don't know. It's hard for me to picture anything where it isn't trying to articulate myself. I feel like that's what I've been trying to do my whole life desperately is articulate myself. So I think it'd be something having to do with that. But I'd probably just be. I mean, if it hadn't taken off, I'd be folding T-shirts. Right now. I mean, I'm 24. I don't know what I'd be doing.
That's true. You're still
I still
young.
fold
Now,
T-shirts. I would fold them professionally. I mean,
sure, you have somebody to do that for you. Come on, don't even lie. So this is just a comment, not really a question. I think it's kind of a little online heckler that I'd like to just pull up. Wondering how Bo feels about having the same physique as a string bean. Do you have
look,
anything
and
to
he
say
doesn't
to
even have
this
a
mystery
picture.
person?
Where's your picture?
Nope, see?
Where's your picture,
There's
Cascadudo? Let's see your physique. Let's see what vegetable you look like. I bet it looks like a fuck. Oh, looks like Are we allowed to swear? I bet you look
Yes, you
like
can.
a, okay, I bet you look like a darn yam, like a misshapen yam, like a fourth place finisher at a yam carnival. All right. And I
All right,
feel
we're
great
done with
about it.
that. Yes, exactly. Let's see. Let's see what questions are. That's a very, very long one. All right. So, what inspired you to write Egghead, and what is your personal favorite poem from it? She's a big fan. Oh no,
We are out of
they like the
control.
question. They like the question as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, they want to know what your personal favorite poem from your book is, basically.
Um, the thing is, I feel like my job isn't to be a fan of my stuff, which is good because I wouldn't be great at it. But um, I would say there's one poem that always gets that's been like really passed around the internet without any credit, which is the one that's called Magic, which is all about what the voice you have in your head when you're reading and what that is. And it's been passed around and it gets tweeted all the time by these like big corporate joke accounts and stuff. And so I wish that one would have my name on it more. That's all. um, but I like a lot of them. I mean, it's probably like a silly one, like probably ones that people hate, like the roller snakes one.
Definitely. So Allie says, let's see, I've heard a lot of stories of people sticking around after shows or hanging near your tour bus to try and catch you for an unscheduled meet and greet. Is that something you enjoy and are all right with, or do you find it invasive?
Oh, here we go. We're getting into it. Um, I did meet and greets on, I used to do meet and greets on my tours. Now my show is very physical and tiring for me. And in this last one, I did like 28 shows in 32 days. So I was doing six in a row. I just could not possibly. And I was sick. And when I would do meet and greets, by 200 people in meeting them, my face would itch from just like shaking hands and stuff. I could feel like literally feel germs on me.
Germs.
Um, I definitely don't find it invasive. It'd be silly to think that, you want to take people's money by self-aggrandizing with a show and then be strange when they want to come meet you. Feel strange when they want to come meet you. And I think the funny sort of thing is that like the people that like my stuff, I think through my stuff or because whatever, they're strangely like literate in the fact that um, I think they know my answer to this and how I feel about these things, like because they'll yell out ironic things of like, "I love the idea of you," or they'll say like, they're aware of part of my show is very much about like how strange it is to be a fan of something and what a performer and celebrity and public, how gross all that sort of stuff is. Um, I do worry that in part, am encouraging what I am trying to um, dis not disprove, but at least like criticize, which is just celebrity fan culture. But again, like the people that are really go crazy, they're like 13-year-old kids, and I'm like, yeah, when I was 13, I was freaking out about this stuff. And I have people that I really admire or enjoy their work, and if I were to see them, I would be very excited by them. Um, I feel like I have again, the people that wait to meet me or something, I think they treat me like a person because I think I try to present myself as one. I think comedians have a better experience with it because they present themselves as human, as opposed to, a pop star or these people that basically you never see them as they are. They are always presenting them, they completely deify themselves. So, of course we want to see what you look like out of makeup walking the street. It blows our minds because you're lying to us every other time. Um, what I wouldn't want to with this question, what I wouldn't want to um, the answer to be, and what I feel like other people is like the idea that celebrities and I'm not talking about myself as a celebrity. I'm talking about myself as a experiencing a small microcosmic like fraction of it. Um, but that the celebrities are somehow victim to their fans and their, you know what I mean? Like, just because I know how hard it is to maintain it, and I've taken breaks and it's went away. If you don't want to be a celebrity, you cannot be it in a year. Like, celebrity isn't this persistent thing that follows. It really doesn't. Because the whole point is that, like, you don't do a movie this year and you're out of it already. Like, Hollywood it is viciously forgetful. This place is. So you're mad that there are cameras in your face when you went to the hottest club in Hollywood, you fucking idiot. Like, move to Wisconsin, move to Albany,
Yep.
New York, and it's gone. It's absolutely over for you. Um, you're on the cover of you are so participatory in this. You are so inviting it. And the fact that, like, they're acting like they're victims of it is ridiculous. The only thing that was truly, like, the stuff that's only victimizing is like the naked pictures getting leaked and all that stuff, which that felt like true, actual victimization, because that they did not sign up for that. When you're, I don't know, when you're complacent with airbrushing your face, and presenting yourself to the world as something you're not, and then you find people pursuing the real you off. No one gives it. No one's looking for Louis C.K. on the street, like, because we've seen him like that. Like, we're not curious. I don't really know what I'm saying, but I'm saying something.
You're saying something.
These are
So now
words in succession.
these are words. Kate wants to know, how close is your stage persona to the real you? We're getting deep.
Getting real deep. I would say not close. I don't know. I have a much better idea of what my stage persona is than what my real self is. But just in terms of, like, it takes me years to be that entertaining or whatever for an hour. I'm not someone. I have friends that are comedians that get on stage and they are just as funny off stage. They're just like they are just like a comedic hurricane that just sometimes wanders onto a stage. I am not that. I sort of feel like a quiet, um, weird person that if he works hard for a couple years, he can be funny for an hour at a time.
Now, do you feel like that pressure around your friends to kind of be funny or to meet
Oh,
people
no,
to be
no, no,
funny?
no, and no. I don't have, like, all my friends are like friends I've had from high school or people close to me that, yeah, they don't need any of that. I mean, that guy's
Okay.
annoying. The guy that, like, needs to be the fun. I don't know. I was never that person.
Yeah, no.
But no, my friends,
Well, that's
most of my friends knew me before it, and yeah, I don't feel that at all.
well, that's great. So now someone wants to know, who is your favorite artist? I'm assuming
Salvador
band-wise, it
Dali.
could be
I'm-
up for
um,
up for
uh,
interpretation, of course.
who's my favorite? Who do I
What do
like
you
now?
listen to these
I'll
days?
throw out John. I love. There's a singer-songwriter named John Grant who's amazing.
Mhm.
If I could have anyone check out anybody, it'd be him.
That's awesome.
John
Um,
Grant.
Katie wants to know, any plans to get back over to the UK?
Um, yeah, I think so. I might be touring again in the fall, and it all depends sort of how the special pans out, if I do another special and when that would be released. But yeah, I'd love to. I've done it a couple times, and it's great. I mean, definitely want to get back to London and Dublin, and maybe Edinburgh. I won't be doing the festival this August, but hopefully getting over there. Maybe do Glasgow or something.
Ooh, that would be awesome. Kate says, I love how genuine and kind you are to your fans. That said, some of them must get out of hand at times. What's your weirdest fan interaction? P.S. Your work has helped me through the worst, and I want to thank you.
Oh, that's very nice. That's very nice. Um, Weirdest? I don't know. It's not like weird. They're usually like tongue in cheek. Again, like, I'm not like being like a comedian. People immediately sort of already approach you with a sense of humor, which, like, um, at worst the jokes just fall flat. It's never really like I signed a fake leg once. What else? I don't know. It's all like
Interesting.
not too weird. Again, they're not like really weird, and you're able to, like, distance yourself from it. Like, what I think is improv. You know, that like that you know, even for like die hard fans, they are thinking about you at most like 0.5% of their life. You know what I mean? You are really not a huge portion of their life. Even like diehard Justin Bieber fans are like thinking about him at most for like 1 out of every 20 minutes is thinking about him, which for like a 2 year period, and then they get their period and stop. But like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I try not to think about this stuff too much. I don't know. I think like the poison of now is fan interaction. Like I love that you think I'm genuine and kind to my fan. That's nice, you know. Um, but like the idea that like artists that just cater their fans and do all this stuff for their fans and show up to me like have fan like this is a live chat we're talking. You know, I haven't done one of these in a long time, and these are, you know, we're feeling questioned. This is all great. But the idea of people to do like weekly Q&As and truly this is honestly a huge portion of what YouTube has become and why I don't participate in a lot of it is that all it is a relationship between a person and their fans and zero content. Like actually for the most part nothing is being made. There's not a thing that's being made other than doing whatever you can to please your fans, which to me is not the job of the you know, when you give people exactly what you want, you get McDonald's. You know, when you give people what you think they should want, you get like a great restaurant where they try new things. Or you know, and I mean, I love McDonald's. It's probably not a great analogy, but nothing is being. I I think I try not to think about fans. I try not to think about that, and it's actually backwardsly in service of them. I feel like the best thing I can give people is what I believe I should do, regardless of what they think. And a bunch of people are just getting, you know, I don't want to spend 4 hours tweeting people back. I want to spend 4 hours working on something that will mean something to people, you know. And nowadays it's just like all it is just self-promotion and fan interaction, and I'm like, what are we doing? We've actually celebrity, which was like a byproduct of art, has now art's now it's gone from it, and now it's just celebrities and people and oh, videos of them opening up gifts from their fans and talking about it. And I'm like, where the fuck what the fuck is happening? I don't know. YouTube is very, very strange. I don't know if you've seen any of this stuff. The
Oh,
and
definitely.
there is some vlogging and all that stuff that's really informative. They do scientific stuff or even like commentary on video games. All that stuff. That is content. I mean, that is. But there's some that I don't know what I'm looking at. It's like a pretty person's life in real time. I'm very, 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 very confused. Um, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, maybe people watching have an idea. You know what? I'm very interested to see like what people my age and younger have to say when they get like, you must free up space in the question queue. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
we're
very
maxing
curious to
out.
see. I'm curious to see what people my age and younger go on to do. What they when they get like doctorates in psychology and they're able to look back and or sociology and look back and think of this stuff. Because right now it's just like 30, 40, 50-year-olds that are theorizing on like what this all means, and I don't think they really understand it. I don't even understand it, and I feel like I'm within it. But I'm really curious to see. It's going to be really interesting to see what the great art made by a 13-year-old when he gets older is, because I think they're living a very, very strange life right now. And
Definitely.
there's it's an uphill battle, and I don't think people are, for people that want to try to make creative stuff, um, it's a real uphill battle, I think, but also completely wide open. I was watching like Freddie Wong, his videos, And it was like amazing. He's like a young filmmaker on YouTube, and he was making amazing stuff. So it's also like, it's strange. It's like there's as many resources now as there's ever been to make whatever you want, and yet the it feels like culturally we're forcing people into the worst possible allocation of those resources, into like front light yourself, look pretty, jump cut, and open fan mail. And I'm like, oh God. Like, if you had asked me 10 years ago, I thought by now, like an Oscar nominated short or like movie would have been made on you. I thought that's where it was going, and it's not going there. I mean, I got in at the ground floor. I'm absolutely rambling now, but I got in at the ground floor level of YouTube, and in YouTube, when I got in, it was like all these people are being discovered. And I was like, this is amazing. This is just going to be the avenue through which we discover people. And nowadays, and then it got completely commodified and corporatized. And now the most viewed videos on YouTube are clips of Jimmy Fallon lip syncing with celebrities. It's like they got us. They fucking did it. The corporations, the huge entertainment, they stole it from us. There was something that could have like been of the people, and it's completely corporatized now, and it's crazy. Oh,
And
check
now do
out
you feel there's
Wong Fu. Someone just come Wong Fu Productions. I've heard of them. I have heard of them. I met that kid. He's really cool. That's another one.
And now, do you feel there's a lot of like kind of inbreeding in the YouTube community? Like a lot of the big name YouTubers kind of doing stuff with each other versus when you started out, it was very much creativity and just kind of
Yeah,
doing
that's a
things
good
on your
point. And
own.
I think that's everywhere. I think that's in a lot of places. I think that's in movies. I think it's definitely in comedy. Like I don't want like for comedy, it's like everyone's doing each other's podcasts, each other's television shows, so that it really becomes like you're a fan of the people in the community, and you're not a fan of what's being made. You know what I mean? Like you're a fan of the comedy community or the YouTube community rather than a fan of the stuff. It's like it's like everyone has a picture of like mechanics on their walls, and they're not worried about whether the car is getting fixed. It's like, these
Yeah.
people actually do a job, right? They actually are supposed to give you a tangible service, beyond just you liking them. Like they're actually supposed to give you something concrete that that can affect you, or you can pass along, or will mean something to you, or will stay with you. And it has become this like IV drip, this just constant distraction, or yeah, or like weird avatarish, like what if my life was that and I can forget about my life. Ugh, it's real long, but um yeah, I think collaboration is strangely you said it, like cross breeding or whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm like, it would just, I don't know. It's, the good thing is that like I'm probably like a little too close to things, or I've been in things a little too long now or something, and like I might already be like an old man or something, and there's just going to be a bunch of young kids coming up that are just going to like blow my mind and make me feel happy about that, and that's what I'm hoping. I still feel like I'm like looking at the world, I'm like, okay, how is Tom Cruise still the biggest movie star? How is like where are the new people? Like, oh, how has the internet exploded, and yet entertainment has not like been replaced? Really, uh, but I hope it's coming. I mean, the studios are gonna, the studios were. I thought they were gonna fall, but then they figured out how to do everything. The internet's
Yeah.
owned by them. It's crazy. It's wild. It really is wild.
And normally we, kind of end these things after 30 minutes, but if you're down, we can take a couple more questions since we have a lot
Yeah,
that we
sure.
haven't covered. Wonderful. All right, so let's see. This one is interesting. Susan says, I noticed that you use a lot of
It's a lot.
large words in your poetry. What's your
I don't think I
favorite
do.
word and why?
Oh God, I don't
They want
think
to know
I.
what your favorite word is.
Um, my favorite word. Oh gosh. Um,
It's probably fan to swear words if you're down with
I'll
that.
say I. Hmm, how about hellacious? Or
Hmm.
how about
Interesting.
I'll tell you words I overuse. I overuse antithetical. And I'm like, why do I have to say antithetical? I overuse microcosmic, which I know I already used in this conversation. So these are my like
Mhm.
loser words that I'm like, just fucking chill. Um, banal, I probably overuse. I don't use big words. I don't think I use big words. I think I don't know. I mean, I think like any word longer than 4 letters feels long now because everything's so abbreviated. But oh, look at all these words people are saying. Disingenuous, baboon.
Baboon.
Vanessa's favorite is baboon.
Yeah.
I'll go with baboon. That's a pretty good one. That's a
Pretty
good.
good
That's a
one.
good looking word.
So now Sarah says, I appreciate your comedy work very much and saw you recently in Royal Oak. But I also love how you get serious. In Egghead, you go back and forth. Do you think you would ever write something that isn't comedic?
Um, it's really funny. It's a great typo because it says in egghead you go back and forth
In
FOURT,
Egghead.
which like I go back and I'm in fourth place. Um, that's a great one. Do you think you'd ever write something that isn't comedic? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like I do. Yeah, definitely. But again, it's not like it's like two separate rooms where it's like, okay, now I'm going to be comedic and now I'm going to be serious or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, they definitely both come from the same place, and it's more just like I want to say things, and is this funny or is this not funny? Uh, Most times than not, it's harder for me to make it funny. Like I did like a song, even a song like I did this thing repeat stuff, which is about sort of the pop world and the way a lot of my feelings towards pop celebrities and just celebrity in general, even you hear me probably now, I'm just angry. Like I'm actually very angry and I take it very seriously. And I feel like everyone's taking everything so lightly and everything's ironic and funny. It isn't. It's like I hate these people in a huge way. Um, I hate I hate, the what a a beautiful, stunning actress selling makeup to little 13-year-old girls. I can't believe when I see these somehow justifying this as, I can't even get like, somehow justifying that these poor little girls, like, not, like, oh, if, I don't even want to say names. It's just like, I get very, 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 very angry. And the problem is with celebrity and all this stuff is that everyone loves everybody else. Bruce, come here. Everyone loves Everyone's so scared of saying anything about anyone else because it's like if you want to talk about like crossbreeding and people that are absolutely only obsessed with each other, I mean Hollywood that is worse than anything, way worse than YouTube. It's more like I get angry at YouTube because I'm like, why are you becoming the thing that I thought you were existing against? Um, but yeah, point is definitely easily do something that's not funny. It's probably a harder impulse for me to make stuff funny.
That's me.
His truth
Yeah.
is where my stuff comes from is like this is not funny to me. But you
No.
know, let's give it a shot.
So Jenny says, what's your favorite song that you've written? Can you sing a bit of it live to us? Ooh, pressure.
Definitely not. Um, I don't know. It's probably something from my new stuff. I saw a comment. Jason Moore says, "This is why I love Bo because I'm an angry, bitter person, and he lets it out with comedy." Um, I hope that's not how I sounded. Um, because bitter to me means you're resentful of something or you're jealous of something or you're angry because of this um and my anger comes from, I think, care and love, I think, which is like I care about, and I've definitely seen this from performing for so long. I care about kids. I care about how things make people feel, and I get angry because I feel like we are making people feel awful. We are we've been given this amazing. Steven Soderbergh had like a great quote about it where he said like, we get to do this for a living. Like, do you know the karmic debt that we have to people? Like the debt that we owe people is that we have to, by having given this position, like make something interesting and worth seeing and something that isn't generic, something that isn't pandering, something that isn't bland, and to me I get very angry. Like, how dare you? You know how many people want to be doing what you're doing? Like how many people want your position and you're choosing to use it to make yourself look cooler or like get more of a following for what? What's the point of building your following if you're saying nothing? Or doing nothing? What? And that's the truth about, I think it was one of the first questions of feeling pressure. It's like, I'd so much rather be doing what I want to a tiny crowd than what I don't to a huge crowd. So, as long as there's some people looking, I'll be all right. I mean, if I fall off the face of the earth and like no one wants my stuff, that'll be definitely a bummer for me. But you know, people have it harder than that. It's just like, who am I kidding? Like that's not. I got a great run. So
Definitely. So Kristen says, since they are so loud, what kind of dogs do you have and what are their names?
there's a
That's
couple. Let
going
me
too
see.
fast.
There's Bruce Loud. They're all mutts, and they're rescues. Um, Bruce out there, we got a new little puppy. He's around somewhere. We think he's like a Scottish Terrier or Chihuahua,
Oh.
but he is like really coming into his own as a little dick. I mean, his genes just make him like bite and bark, and he is being an absolute mess. Um, but yeah, they're good. They're two old girls and one young boy.
Oh. So Audrey says, what has your experience been with writing scripts in comparison to other writing you have done?
Um, I very much enjoy that. Um, I have a few things I'm trying to get going, that might happen. Truly, writing is what I want to do. It feels like the thing I want to do. The only thing I've ever done where I feel like I'll do this for the rest of my life, I've never felt that way with stand-up or acting. It feels like I want to always write. I feel mostly like a writer, and I've really, really been enjoying um, writing scripts. I mean, the thing is, writing screenplays it's a incomplete art form. It really is meant to be expressed visually. So I can keep writing, but it doesn't mean anything until I see it. It's not complete until I see it expressed and see how it works visually. So hopefully that'll happen. But if not, I'm really enjoying doing it. It's a totally, totally different process than writing
Oh, that's nice.
stand up. And my favorite part about it is that I disappear. The things I've been writing are not for me. I wouldn't be in it. Um, and that's been great, because I feel very limited in having to write for my face or my abilities, when I look at things and go, I was really starting to write stuff that I thought was for me, and then halfway through it, I was like, I wouldn't cast me in this. This isn't this. I wouldn't do the best version of this, and that's been incredibly freeing.
Oh, that's awesome. Someone says East Coast or West Coast. Ooh.
Oh, I say both. I think,
Oh.
I don't think you want two sides of the same coin, heads or tails. Um, I just think like people give the West Coast so much shit. At least the West Coast like has some self-hatred within it, you know.
Hmm.
I like when New York, where it's like, oh, this is just like the city I was meant to be here. Like, the city feels so alive. I'm like, oh, fuck you. At least LA is like, yeah, this place sort of sucks, and like people are fake. And truly, like people are fake out here. All that means is that they smile at you. That means polite. Like I think fake slightly means polite. Like it really isn't just like a bunch of muscly actresses walking around saying like these guys are assholes. That where I grew up. So whatever. I mean, like I just at least the West Coast is a little self-hating. And Boston's self-hating. I don't know. I just think like New York has been so pumped up on being portrayed in movies and books that like it walks with its chest a little puffed out. And even when it struggles, it's like a noble struggle, and that just like makes me fucking nauseous.
So Nate says, do you think Gay Kid and Fat Chick is ever going to be made into a movie?
It could, yeah. I mean, it was not gonna be for a while, and now it might have a chance again to be. Um, I don't know. I hope so.
Wonderful.
As a script I
And
wrote. It's a script I wrote like a year ago or 2 years ago, maybe.
um, let's see. I want a good one to go out with a bang. Well, this is the most common question, so we'll pop that up for the last question.
Okay. Yeah,
When
yeah.
will you announce the second leg of your tour? And do you have any idea of where they're going to
Um,
be?
yeah. So I had to hold off on it just because there's a few things that could maybe happen. That might not. I think they're probably not going to happen, but basically, I wrote this script I want to try to direct, and it's a small movie, and if it were to go, it would maybe go in the late summer into the fall, and I have to push the tour a bit. I don't think it's going to
Mhm.
happen, and I think I'll know soon, and then when I know soon, I'd probably announce in July or something. It would
Ooh.
be, if stuff doesn't happen, it would be in the fall, and it would hit all, the East Coast places that I didn't hit. I think it's also going to hit a lot of, since we were lucky enough to be able to sell out a bunch of the shows pretty quickly in the last leg, so we're going to probably go back to cities in between cities that we hit. So, yeah, I'm still figuring that out, but hopefully, who knows? But it'll happen.
Well,
Either
wonderful.
it'll either be the end of the year or the beginning of next year, and I think more this fall. That's what I think. If I had to bet.
That'll be fun. We're looking forward to everything you do, and I want to thank you for joining us. This has been great. And if you have
Thanks for
anything
having me.
else you want to say to your fans, and then we will be good to go.
Thanks. Thanks.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome. Dot
I
dot
was gonna say
dot. There you go.
I think that's perfect. But thanks for watching. We're all sitting in front of our computers, and I'm just like you.
Waiting.
I'm sitting on my computer, but for some stupid reason, my face is in front of all your faces. But we're all just sitting there. We're all just a bunch of God's children.
Well, thank you so much, Bo. It's been awesome, and we hope to see you soon.
I'm gonna catch an elevator out of here.
All right. And he is officially out of the building. Good night, folks.